Today, we lost a legend. Chris, lead us off with memorial for Blake the Boat Bortles.
Well, like you mentioned, Austin, it is a sad day as the one and only Mortal Kombat Blake Bortles has retired from the NFL. And man, the NFL lost a great one today, man.
Yeah,
A real warrior.
true champion.
You know, Oviedo High School and UCF legend.
Alum as well.
Jacksonville Jaguar. You know, it was a great 4 years. It was the most electric 4 years the Jaguars have had since I can remember. It hasn't been the same since, man. But he's decided to retire. 103 TDs, 75 interceptions, Hall of Fame type numbers, one could argue. And, yeah, hopefully we'll see him in some capacity doing what we're doing right now, man.
Now we're gonna see him at a gas station buying some dip.
The world needs Blake Bortles.
They do. They need BB5.
And there's a gaping hole in my heart right now. There's a void in my life that, I don't know, maybe Jared Goff can fill part of it, but
Not even close.
we'll see, man.
Well, anyways, welcome to week 5 of NFL Game Picks. It is a sad day. I mean, you're a big fan of Blake Bortles, and you know it sucks when some of your favorites walk away from the game. It is what it is.
For sure. Why couldn't it be Aaron Rodgers?
Nah, he's not gonna retire.
He should be in jail.
Okay. Well, anyways, welcome to week 5 of NFL Game Picks. Like I said earlier, last week was a lot of movement on the leaderboards. I'll tell you that. We'll skip over recapping our teams just for the time being. But in terms of standings as of week 5, Eddie still remains on top, 39-25. Following the 10-6 week. He's had 10-6 weeks for the last 3 weeks. Good job, Eddie. Way to keep it going.
Attaboy.
Yes, sir. And then we have Steve, 2 9-7 weeks in a row to lead him to 38-26. Same with myself, 30. No, I have 36-28. My bad.
Jeez, here we go.
I did have one of the better weeks this past week, along with Joey. We both went 11-5. Joey is right behind me, 35-29. Matt 9-7. DJ 9-7. Matt is 35-29 as well. DJ 34-30. Mark 33-31 after a 7-9 week, bad week. And then Chris, you want to talk about your week?
Yeah, man, I'm at the bottom, but you know, not for long. I'm batting 500.
500 all across the board.
Yeah,
bro.
32.
Week 5 was 8-8.
Yeah, I'm 8-8. I'm 32-32, which you know would get me in the MLB Hall of Fame. So, 50% of the time, I'm right all the time. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Unfortunately, it's not the NFL Game Pickers Hall of Fame as of right now.
Hey, I mean, I'm an OG, bro. I'm a trailblazer.
Is that how you're gonna find your way in?
Yeah, I'm grandfathered in, bro. I got blackmail on the commissioner. Oh, hey,
On the commish.
watch out.
What about the site's owner, huh?
On Steve, not Steve School.
Anyways,
Week 5.
well, week 4. Real quick.
Oh, real
Just
quick?
Real quick.
You want to talk about that game? Thursday night?
Thursday night was rough.
thought we were skipping it.
No, just touch on it real quick. Thursday night was pretty rough as a Dolphins fan. You never want to see that happen to a player ever. The way that Tua went down and had been sent to the hospital, and obviously just not the best look as for a player, for a team, for organization, for fans either, because last thing you want is your starting quarterback to go out in the way he did. So very saddening. That being said, had that not happened, Dolphins would have destroyed the Bengals. I will be dead set on it for now, for the rest of the season, probably for the rest of my life. That game would have been so lopsided had to have stayed in. But it's unfortunate. Wishing him the best, and hopefully he can come back soon. But
Yeah.
don't rush it. Don't want
Nah,
anything
can't.
really bad to happen to him. But what about your Bears, Chris?
I mean, yeah, it was also a disappointing week. Justin Fields, once again, I don't know, he bamboozles you, bro. Like, he starts off, throws like a nice 17-yard pass, and then he runs for 16 yards right off the get-go, and you're like, all right, you know what? Maybe this guy is going to be good. Maybe, and, you know, it's a great pass. Nah, this guy pretty much stinks. I'm not fully out yet, but, man, I'm like 92% out on him. Again, we can't score more than like 20 points. We lose to Daniel Jones and let him basically waltz into the end zone twice. The only positive of the game was that Darnell Mooney had 94 yards and 4 catches, which is my fantasy team name is Mooney Tunes at work, so I have to have him on my squad. So
You kind of trapped yourself.
So best week he's had by far.
It was 90-something yards, probably more.
94 yards is probably more than he's had in all of the other games combined.
Yeah.
To be honest.
All right. With that being said, let's lead into the first game of the week, which has lots of news. So we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos, and Jonathan Taylor is out. He had a high ankle injury, suffered in the fourth quarter against the Titans. In that game alone, they weren't doing so well anyways, and he was having pretty much probably his worst week rushing since he probably got in the league. Aside from that, it's they're facing a Denver Broncos team who I would say lackluster. You know, you have a lot higher expectations for this Broncos team, and they're not meeting it just yet. They're still finding ways to get wins, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people there aren't upset about it, but they definitely want to see more out of that squad. That being said, I'm going to go with the Broncos just because I think right now without Jonathan Taylor in the game just makes a huge factor. They also don't have Randy Gregory for the Broncos, so another huge factor, but Jonathan Taylor is the Indianapolis Colts offense.
You know what the Broncos do have?
What?
A Chubb. And that dude's a beast. That guy is all over the place. What are you laughing at, bro? And man, he's awesome. So, with that being said, I'm also gonna take the Broncos based on Jonathan Lawrence Taylor being out of the game.
That was a huge factor because I could have swayed it to the
dude's a
Colts.
Beast. Probably would be great on the other side of the ball. Playing defensive lineman too. He's awesome. Russell Wilson has to get these wide receivers going. This tight end going. They just brought in Latavius Murray. Shout out UCF. That dude, despite what some people may say about him, he finds the end zone. He scored his 32nd touchdown since like 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
This past weekend for a different team, and now he's on the Broncos.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. Like, he was like a pretty big factor for the Saints last week, and now he's on the Broncos because Devontae Williams went out. But I feel like their backfield can handle him being out. They have a little bit of better players in suit. I mean, I'm not saying Naheem Hines isn't any good because I have him in like a few of my leagues. I'm confident in his ability to perform.
It's the Naheem Hines game.
I think it might be, honestly. Like, if the Colts win, it's probably because Naheem Hines took over the game. And it's a high possibility that could be the case.
I agree. I don't think Latavius Murray will be a factor going, or at least a huge factor, going from London to Denver.
Yeah, immediately no. I think Melvin Gordon will be the lead back for the Denver Broncos.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying they did add help to replace some injuries.
On top of that, prop bet for this game, Colts quarterback Matt Ryan, total passing touchdowns over 1.5. They're not going to be running the ball as much, so the game is going to be going through his arm. So I expect him to at least get 1. 2 might be stretching it, but who knows? Who knows? You know, take a chance. You never know. Anyways, we'll go into the first game on the Sunday slate and another London game. We have the New York Giants taking on the Green Bay Packers, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Packers are heavily favored in this game, but it's not the highest favor of this entire week. We'll get to that one later. But they are favored by 8 points. and over-under set at 41.5. You know,
Well, you want me to tell you my two gripes with these London games I have so far?
Go ahead.
Okay, so number one, last week. Good game. Really good game. I enjoyed it. But here's the thing. Also going on in England was the Manchester Derby that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What poor planning on their part. Because not only, like, you're taking major eyes. Because, like, I like soccer. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's football on and it's not my team, I'm watching football. No matter what. Doesn't matter. American football. I'm watching NFL. I did not watch the Manchester Derby, which is Man City versus Man U. A huge game for Premier League. Took eyes off of it. Same time, pretty much. One started at 9, one's at 9:30. Secondly, you have Bayern Munich playing in Lambeau Field. Why don't you just send the Packers to Germany for that game? Plus, there's a huge German influence in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Two
gripes with this game. I am going Packers because they are heavily favored, and I don't know. I can't stand Brian Dable's weird bald head on the sideline just snickering the whole game, bro. He pisses me off.
He covers his big bald head with a big fire department of New York hat. So he's probably one of the only coaches that is allowed to not wear
for now
NFL issued apparel, which Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers had a huge issue with because they weren't allowing him to wear like special stuff for the 49ers. But that's neither here or there. We are talking about the New York Giants versus the Green Bay Packers. I'm going with the Packers. Just leaving it out there. Both teams are 3-1. Giants are a lot more of a surprise 3-1 team, while the Green Bay Packers are kind of an expected 3-1 team. If not, they should be 4-0. Without that, sloppy start in Minnesota, they could be 4-0. They could be one of the top considered teams in the league.
For sure.
On top of that, I threw in Giants kicker Graham Gano, total made field goals over 1.5, plus 114. Take a shot. Why not?
1.5?
1.5 total made field goals. So not extra points, just field goals. So 3 points each time.
Yeah, why not,
No?
I like that. A shot. Especially speaking of the Packers, got to shout out the boy Joey, who is going through a rough time. Lost his uncle today. He was supposed to come on the pod, so we're thinking about you, Joe, and your family, and hopefully the Packers can lift your spirits up, bro, and put a smile on your face for a little bit, man.
Yeah. Let's move on to the first slated game for 1 p.m. We have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, you want to touch on it in his personal life, or
nah?
Should we not?
I mean, I think everybody knows.
Yeah. All right. Well,
if you want to talk about it, go ahead.
No, I don't really want to talk about it. But Tom Brady's really fiending to beat the Falcons twice a year, every year. So, lock it in, easy pick. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't even let the Atlanta Falcons have a chance in this game. You want to go first?
I mean, yeah, the Tampa Bay defense is awesome. I mean, they had a rough game last week, but come on, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Doing Mahomes type things, and yeah, I mean it's Tom Brady brunch going against a Falcons team that, no offense, kind of stinks. Mariota, not very good. They're in a rebuilding phase. Yeah, and their best players are a little banged up. You got to go Tampa.
Cordell Patterson just got put on IR.
He is too.
And he's
Kyle
probably their
Pitts
best offensive
didn't
player.
practice today.
Yep.
So Drake London, if you have him in fantasy, start him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get a lot. And
he's going to get a lot of looks. I wouldn't say he would probably get a lot of points, but he's definitely going to get considered, yeah.
And no one else is out there to catch passes. And Tyler, how do you say, Algier or whatever? Algier? I don't know.
You're close.
But I had him on my bench last week, and he did pretty well. I'm going to consider starting him in this one. But I don't know. I don't really envision the Falcons being on the field too much for offense, so be wary. But yeah.
So you're going with the Bucs?
Yeah, you have to. Gotta go with the Bucs.
All right. Do you think? What do you think about this prop? Huh? Tell me, Chris. What do you think about the Bucs winning by 7 to 12 points?
I like it.
Plus 390.
In the range, can't go over 12.
It has to be within 7 or 12 points.
Oh, that's kind of tough.
So listen, hear me out. Hear me out. All right. The Falcons are 4-0 against the spread this entire year. So they've covered every single game.
Run it.
Right?
Yeah, run it.
Spread's at 8.5.
Go ahead.
All they gotta do is lose by 7 or less, and they cover the spread, right? Tampa Bay winning by 7 to 12 points. They went around that right at that 7 mark. It could hit. But who knows? Maybe a lot of things could be jinxed. Oh man. But it's showtime. It's all about you, Chris.
Man, I'm not going to take the Bears this week.
What?
Unfortunately, I got to start winning some games, and I don't really envision the Bears winning. They don't look very good, and the offense is the worst offense in the league, and it's one of the worst offenses the NFL has seen in quite some time. And, you know, we thought we were going to be bad going into the year. We didn't know we were going to be this bad. But I wouldn't take the Bears if I were you. I would take the Vikings at home. And I don't know. Vikings are a much better team. And Justin Jefferson is probably gonna have a very good week. Wouldn't you agree?
I believe so as well. Another thing I want to bring up is receiving yards in 2022 so far. Tyreek Hill, 477 yards.
Is that what you're digging up?
Yeah. The entire Chicago Bears, 471.
It's not a surprise.
I'm not surprised either. Not trying to drag you down, but
no, it stinks.
It's definitely one of those like, kind of like can't believe it kind of stats.
It stinks, and it's like, why did, like, I understand maybe Matt Nagy wasn't the answer, but like having the mentality that like, I don't know why they always have this mentality of we gotta hire the opposite of what we just hired or what we just had.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we just had an offensive guru genius wannabe. Let's go defense. Defense is never the problem. Our defense is fine.
Your defense in Chicago has never been the problem since its inception.
It's very young right now, yes. Yeah. But, like, our defense, like, it could potentially be a playoff defense if the offense was up to par.
Yeah.
And, like, we need somebody in here that can put points on the board. Because, bro, like, it's just pitiful. We can't even score the freaking ball. And it's not this coach. It was the last coach. It's every coach. You know, we had 19 points, 10 points, 20 points, 12 points.
It's rough.
And we're 2-2. So the defense is, like, pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was just about to allude to. Like, as much as, like, it sucks that you guys aren't, scoring as much, you guys are still floating around there, 2-2. But I do think it will change to 2-3. After the Vikings beat you guys. And then on top of that, prop for this game. Total first half touchdowns set at 3, plus 250. Take a shot. Why not?
This might be potentially the last time that you see the Chicago Bears 500 or above.
This season?
This season, yes.
And back to what you said about the coaches. Like, the Dolphins did the same thing for a while. Like, so they didn't do it when they went from Joe Philbin to Adam Gase, both offensive. Then they went to Brian Flores, who was a defensive coach, and then now they're back to an offensive coach with Mike McDaniel. But anyways, let's move on to the next game, the Detroit Lions versus the New England Patriots. New England is favored by 3.
Do you have a strong gut feeling about this game?
I don't know, man. The Lions have been upsetting me. Every time I take a chance on them and I pick them, they kind of choke it. Like, you're playing against a Seattle team that you think you should be able to beat, and then on top of that, it's just, like, not working out well for them. Because they have T.J. Hawkinson, who had the probably best game of his career, and it amounts to not. Because they end up losing in, like, a shootout. Which is very unfortunate.
Who would have thought that would have been, like, the highest scoring, potentially most exciting game of the week was the Detroit Lions playing the Seahawks.
Not me. Not me, honestly.
And I made the mistake, rookie mistake probably, but I made the mistake of picking up the Lions D because I thought, the Lions are scoring the most points. I thought no way Seattle's going to keep up. Defense is probably going to have a good game, and they got me -2 points.
Okay.
It was rough.
I guess you wrote at Gino, and you're like, hey, I don't think you're going to do good, and he didn't write back, bro.
Hey, he ain't right back, but
So
I don't know, man.
For the reply?
He's gonna wait a while. I'm gonna roll with the Lions though for that reason that they are scoring the most points right now, and I think Jamal Williams is a little bit banged up. Is he out? I think he got banged up. I'm not quite sure, but
I know T.J. Hawkinson's questionable.
He should be all right, but I'm gonna take them going into New England and beating the Patriots.
Could be quite the stretch, and that's more so because Mac Jones was out against the Packers. He did go to practice today, but it was a walkthrough, so who knows? Brian Hoyer is in the concussion protocol, and Bailey Zappi is more than likely getting the start. So when you kind of put all those things into consideration, everything points towards the Lions, but it's hard because it's Bill Belichick in New England.
And that defense has been bad.
Yeah. And I don't know. They just went into Lambeau and put up a really good fight against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who you can either say they're struggling or the Patriots defense did really well, which I feel like you can probably say the latter with the Patriots defense doing well. So even though I'm gassing up the Patriots this much, I am going to go with the Lions just because I'm not sold on what the Patriots are doing right now. Not 100% sold on it. I feel like they're very vulnerable. I do think I put a double result here. Detroit first half, New England second half. But that doesn't mean that New England wins the game. It just means they outscore them in the second half. So as long as Detroit puts up a 2-possession difference and then it comes out to being close at the end of the game and New England has more points, you can win on that one. So
interesting.
A bunch of interesting little prop bets here and there, make it fun. New England, not looking good. I don't know. Tough situation there with the quarterback. Anyways, we have the Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And even though I introed it, I'll let you take this one.
Wait, did you say Mac Jones was questionable?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, I was going to say, because there's no way. That look on his face. Anyways, T-Law, my guy Trevor Lawrence, was not looking too high last week. But hey, rough
tough
game.
Conditions.
Tough game. Tough
opponent.
Tough opponent. Tough weather conditions.
You know.
Let's get back on track. Cakewalk game at home, 1:00. Jacksonville. Be there. Be square. I won't be there, unfortunately.
Where
but
would you be, dude?
I'll be down here in Pompano, holding it down. You know.
Bumping some Kodak or something?
Well, for sure. Honestly, shout out Kodak, bro. Come on the pod anytime. This is so much pro Kodak podcast, bro. In fact, we would change our name to the Kodak Black Fan Club podcast if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But and Walk is the hottest song of the summer, even though it's kind of not summer anymore. Moving on. I'm taking the Jags at home, bro. Say less. Jags at home.
Yeah, the Jags are facing the winless Houston Texans right now, and first couple of weeks, I'm like, hey, watch, Houston's going to be a surprise team.
Nah.
Not so much. It's a hot take. I do think this Houston Texans team is better, though, than what their record says. They're 0-3-1, which any team that has a tie affiliated with them is not good. But well, even then, I'm going to take the Jaguars. They are the better team, flat out. And, it's tough because I feel like their offense is really good for Houston. Like, they have good pieces. I think Davis Mills is not necessarily there yet. I think he could be there soon. But they're filling the pieces around them. There are a lot of young players, so it's tough to, be dominant in the NFL with young guys all around. Mm-hmm. That being said, that's why I put the prop total second half touchdowns 1. And I think it more than likely will be the Jags to do it. 'Cause I think
over 1?
Just one.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's too low. Dude, I think the Jags are going to blow them out. I also think this is a great game for Travis Etienne to get his first NFL touchdown.
Might be in the second half, that one touchdown.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't love that, but yeah, bro. You got to go Jags at home here, man. Overall, I don't care. Jags at home.
I see big return. I like it. Odds of it happening. I like it.
Right.
But yeah, the Jaguars had a tough game last week. Just to reiterate on them, I think they're on the come up though. They're looking a lot better. Going back on what you said recently, I don't know if it was exactly last week or not, but you're talking very highly and saying like, oh, they're more than likely going to take the AFC South. They might if they keep on at this pace. I know last week was just like not the best game to kind of like look back on it and be like,
Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, but they got Texans, who they should beat. Colts, divisional opponent, probably going to be close, but they should hopefully beat them. Giants. Mm-hmm. Then it gets a little rough.
And we'll see what they're made of by then.
Yep. Then it gets a little rough. You got to beat some of these, Raiders, Ravens, Lions.
You should beat the teams that you should beat, and then to become a good team, you got to beat some of those teams that you probably shouldn't have beat.
Exactly.
So those are the things that I can take away from this Jacksonville Jaguars team. They're a lot more surprising than what I've thought. So give them kudos. But let's go to the Los Angeles Chargers at the Cleveland Browns.
Let's do it.
Los Angeles is favored -3, -161 line. Over under set at 47.5. Would you take the over or under on this? What do you think?
Oh man, I don't know. This is tough. Like, what Justin Herbert are we gonna see if we do see Justin Herbert at all?
That is true.
So it's hard for me to bet on this game. I haven't even picked this game yet because I'm not quite sure, man. And Cleveland at home, like, they're still going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Bosa out. I don't know. Double team Mac and hope for the best. Run the other side of Mac every play. Hope for the best. I don't know.
That is true, yeah. That is one thing I forgot to consider is that Bosa's sent to the IR.
For a while.
With a hip injury, yeah.
I think it was a groin. Didn't he tear his groin?
Groin or hip injury. One of the two. So that area, anyways.
I will confirm it.
Anyways, Justin Herbert also dealing with the cartilage in his rib. If I'm not mistaken, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's dealing with a rib injury. Signs are more pointing towards the Browns.
Groin is expected to be sidelined 8 to 10 weeks per Adam Schefter of ESPN reports.
Nice. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
But anyways, yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns.
Oh, and Slater's out too. Rashawn Slater.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to go Browns here.
Yeah. It's a must.
Offensive tackle, big tackle.
So,
tore his bicep. He's out for season.
Slater, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
Yeah, huge. Because as a young player, he was still getting talked about really well as of like one of the better offensive linemen in the league. He made a Pro Bowl early on in his career. I mean, this is his second or third year, and he's been already having a good start. That being said, prop for this game. Winning margin, Cleveland Browns 1 to 6 points. What do you think about that?
More than 6?
1 to 6. Need a win in that range. Needs to be less than a touchdown game.
I think they're gonna win by more than a touchdown.
So would you hammer the money line? Next question.
What's the money line?
That's a sensational question now that you ask, Chris.
Well, the thing about this is it's going to be two banged up teams all around.
I wouldn't say the Browns are as much banged up.
Well, they don't have a quarterback.
Jacoby Brissett's holding up well. Anyways, the return on the money line for the Browns right now is plus 115.
Plus 115?
Yeah, just for them to outright win, which is
I like that.
That's a good one. Nice little return. So take some chances on the Browns this week. Might be good. But we'll go with my game of the week. We have the Miami Dolphins going to New York to play the New York Jets. Tough time right now for Dolphin fans. You want to root for your team as much as possible. You want to support Teddy Bridgewater being the starting quarterback right now. I know there's probably some doubt, but really, should we have doubt against the New York Jets? I don't think so. Being cocky, maybe. But I think the defense is starting to come around a bit. I think we've been able to hold people down in crucial moments. The offense has not been complimentary with the defense, especially in that last game when, the defense was able to hold down the Bengals, and then Teddy Bridgewater throws that hurtful interception to on the possible game-winning drive. So this New York Jets team, Dolphins are favored on the road, which is kind of crazy, especially with Tua being out. You would expect them to, kind of favor the Jets more, especially with the comeback win they had against the Steelers last week. But
it is the Jets.
It's the Jets. Yeah, exactly. Who are you going with here, Chris?
That being said, I actually am going to go with the Jets. I don't know. I don't have faith in your backup quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. And I think the Jets' defense is good enough to just have a decent enough game to keep the Jets in it long enough for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of those games where you look back and the Dolphins are in the playoffs, but the Jets are like, yeah, but we beat you week 5. Remember that? And you're like, yeah, but Tua was out and all this other stuff was going on.
Yeah, a bunch of stipulations for it.
Yeah, but, the Jets fans are still like, yeah, but we beat you week 5. Remember that?
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna take that to my grave.
Yeah, so like if let's say the Dolphins won the Super Bowl, the Jets won the Super Bowl technically. Because we beat you week 5.
We beat the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, we beat them week 5. So
I feel
Super
that.
Bowl champs. That's how Jets fans are.
Yeah, let them be. Let them enjoy that moment.
Hey, enjoy.
Also, prop bet for this game is I think it's not gonna be a close game. Actually, I think the Dolphins are gonna win by 7 to 12 points. Plus 450. Why not, dude? Why not? Hey, go big or go home.
One thing I will say is Sauce going up against these wide receivers will be interesting to see if he can hold his own.
Big test.
Big wide receiver. I don't know. He's pretty fast. I don't know if he's Tyreek fast, but or Waddle fast even, but we'll see how he does.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Now, this is probably... Remember how I told you there's a game on this schedule that has probably one of the largest spreads probably I've ever seen in the NFL? This is it. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, no.
Buffalo's favored by 14.
Oh.
Which, honestly, in my time of following gambling and stuff like that in the NFL, probably a bigger spread I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like I've seen 24 before.
Dude, that's hard. It's the NFL.
KC?
It's the NFL, bro. It's hard.
KC against the Jets or something, and then the Jets won.
Probably, but over the last 2 to 3 years,
18?
I would probably say this is the largest spread I've seen.
It's high. It's big. It's hefty.
Moneyline minus 900 Buffalo. That's a hard return. $900 to make $1. Not the way, man. Not the way.
I hope Mark slams this because he took the Steelers. So I hope in real life he's just like, you know what, let me put $10 on this.
On this, the Steelers is plus 600 if they win.
Yeah, I hope he puts $10 out there. In fact, I would give you $10, Mark, if you come to work and I see you for this, bro. Because if they win, man, what a payout.
All right. Do you think the Steelers are going to win?
Nah, I'm going with Buffalo. Going with Buffalo here. You got to. Their defense and offense are just really, really good. And the Steelers, unfortunately, are not really, really good.
Yeah. Another reason I picked the Dolphins to win this game is because I thought the Bills are going to win this game, so I need them to keep on, holding in their lead right now in the AFC East. But yeah, I'm going with Buffalo, and I have them winning between 7 to 12 points. So, not covering the spread, but just about there. I do think the Steelers are in better hands right now with Kenny Pickett being the starting quarterback. And that's saying a lot because,
He threw 3 interceptions last week.
Yeah, okay. But 2 of them, you can't really put them on. All 3 of them, you can't really put them on. Let me walk you through it. First interception. Chase Claypool, 50-50 ball, gets tipped as he's trying to come down with it. Jets get it. All right? It's fine. Interception, a Pat Fryer move. went through Pat Fryermuth's hands, right into Jets CB hands. Other one, Hail Mary. So really, you can't even blame him for all of those interceptions. He gave his receivers a chance to come down with the ball. Another thing was, I saw that he, withstood in the pocket and delivered a tough throw down the middle of the field, which is probably you never want to throw to, especially as a young quarterback. And pretty much in the same style of play, Trubisky took the sack. And a quick sack too. He's like, no, I want to protect the ball and go down. So I think the Steelers are in better hands right now with Pickett, but there's going to be definitely growing pains, especially going against one of the better teams in the NFL.
For sure. I agree, but I think you have to go with Buffalo at home.
No, 100%.
So,
you want to take us to this next game, Chris?
Seattle at New Orleans. This one is a great game for me personally because I have a really good friend that's a Seahawks fan and a really good friend. We all know him well, Mr. Gamble, who's a Saints fan. And I don't really know where to go in this one. I mean, I feel like you got to go with Seattle, but it's like, man, they're really hard to, bet on. And it's like, well, Saints at home, but the Saints can't score the ball. They can't score the ball.
And they surprisingly put up a good amount of points last week in London against the Vikings. But that is also to say that I don't have as much faith in the Vikings defense because they've been very fraudulent. I get it that first week against the Packers might have been huge and limiting Aaron Rodgers. But, I mean, it's the first game with Aaron Rodgers having not as much chemistry with his receivers. So I would take more away from the Packers not being good offensively than the Vikings being good defensively in that game. Otherwise, Vikings defense, not so good. So
I don't know. The Saints probably should have lost against the Falcons week 1. They probably shouldn't even have a win, unfortunately. I don't know if Jameis is going to play. And
still uncertain, yeah.
And I don't think Andy Dalton is the answer. I'm going Seahawks, man. I feel like you have to here. I can't justify taking the Saints. I'm sorry, DJ.
Yeah, I'm on board with you. We talked about Geno Smith earlier, and I'm confident with how he's been performing. So more often than not, if you're kind of having trouble picking a game, just go with the quarterback who you have a little bit more faith in. I think Andy Dalton getting more time, getting reps as QB1 for this week, maybe might be better and help out the Saints offense. But then you also got to consider Camaro's questionable. He didn't play last game. You just let go of the guy who was probably your biggest offensive weapon last week against the Vikings and Latavius Murray. So it's just
yeah, for
what
real.
are we doing here, Saints? I don't know. You got to retain the guy. I don't know what you guys are doing. Anyhow, I'm going with the Saints. Not the Saints, the Seattle Seahawks, which makes my my prop for this game a little weird. We're talking about how the Saints are struggling to score. I have them winning the first half, Seattle winning the second half, plus 800. Never know. Gotta feel it. Gotta feel it out.
Yeah, I guess you never know. But I don't know. This one and the next one are kind of toss-ups, I feel like.
What's the next one?
Tennessee Titans going to Washington to play the Commanders. Both very, very, very similar teams. For some reason, Commanders are heavily favored 60-40 in this one. I don't really understand why. There's a lot of questionable people on both sides of the ball, and their stats are pretty similar. Points per game, almost identical. Points allowed per game.
For this game, both sides?
Yeah, almost identical. These teams are pretty close. Rush yards, pass yards attempts, allowed, they're all pretty similar outside of the fact that Washington, I feel had one really good game that kind of put some of their passing yards more. I don't know. I just feel like it's a toss-up. I'm going to go with the home team, and I'm going to take the Commanders.
It's very interesting of you, honestly, because it's tough. You did say it's a toss-up, and I agree with you 100% on that. The one thing I might have to take away is just I think Tennessee is just a better team. I do think the Commanders have a better skill set of receivers. Their offense as a whole, I think, could be a lot better for the Commanders. But when you take in Derrick Henry, I know Taylor Lewan is out, which is really rough because they used him a lot in the running game and it really helped propel Derrick Henry to the status that he is as probably one of the best running backs in the NFL. It's tough because I really want to go with Tennessee.
Their fullback is also out too.
Titans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who do you think is clearing the holes for him?
Yeah, that is true. All right, screw it. Why not? Let's go with the Commanders, huh? Did you hear their fan-made theme song?
I don't want to.
But
I think it is worth noting Titans are 2-2. Started off 2 losses, 2 wins. I think it is interesting to note that, they started off kind of bad, got back on the horse, have won a few. But I do agree, Washington has more weapons overall and a slightly better defense, I want to say. So I'm taking Commanders at home.
Yeah. That's one concerning thing about this Titans team is that their defense has fallen off as of late. Because, in terms of recency in years. Because 2 to 3 years ago, probably one of the best defenses in the league. And then now it's just slowly dropping off each year. Which it sucks for them because they relied on that and Derrick Henry's run game. So it was quite shocking last year when they ended up with the number 1 seed because their defense did help a lot, and their run game was kind of abysmal without Derrick Henry there, and they still found a way. So that's why it's hard to kind of count this Titans team out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. This is probably one of the tougher games to pick. Prop bet for this game, double result. Tennessee first half, Washington. Second half,
sure.
Take a shot. Why not?
Home team comes back at home and wins.
Yes, sir. First half, Carson Wentz throws a couple picks. Tennessee's feeling themselves. They go up.
Second half, Tannehill throws a couple picks.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
There you go.
And then we have the first 4 o'clock game, San Francisco 49ers versus Carolina Panthers. San Francisco had a dominating win against the Los Angeles Rams. Rams did find a way to try to get almost back in the game, but it just wasn't enough. Their defense, stifling, the 49ers.
Stifling. Yeah, they're awesome.
They're one of the only teams that haven't allowed more than 20 points so far in each game this season. So I think it was them and the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely the 49ers defense is something that would scare a lot of people, especially Baker Mayfield and the Panthers, who are struggling offensively.
Baker Mayfield stinks. Jimmy G unit wasn't looking great.
It looked better.
Wasn't looking great. His stats are a little slighted. That Devo catch, probably 9 times out of 10 is a pick, or at least a pass broken up.
And it doesn't result in a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean
5 broken tackles.
I'm on the side of Jimmy G is good though. I would take Jimmy G on the Bears any day, any day of the week. Baker Mayfield could go kick rocks. I don't want him on the Bears. Don't even want him even a name attached to the Bears. I don't even want the Bears to play him. I don't want him to rub off on him. So I'm taking San Fran on the road here to just continue doing what San Fran continues to do. Grind them out. Get hard wins.
And that's been the case. I mean, if you look at their recent games, they're one-possession games. They're close games. They lost 10-11 to Denver. Their defense is definitely a main catalyst, but then their playmakers on offense is also a big key. Without that Debo touchdown, there's a lot closer game. Probably the Rams don't play it as desperate as they did. I am going to go with the 49ers. I liked what I saw with them on Monday night. I'm not sure if that's so predicated to the Rams just, not having the best of luck and, considering the Super Bowl hangover effect, or if it's the 49ers defense, showing that they can limit a lot of people and, really suffocate them defensively. Tough one. So you're talking really highly about Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Do you think he gets over 2 touchdowns this game, passing?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah? Plus 114. Why not? Take a little shot on that.
Yeah, I mean, sure. You never know. They run a lot of screens. Might catch catch the Panthers off guard, blow it open a little bit, win by a few tuds. Second best D in the league, so, hopefully offense puts up some points. But they are getting after the quarterback, and hopefully Baker's got a rough day. San Fran should win.
Yeah, Armstead got a little banged up in that last game.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Nothing. It seems so far nothing significant. Nothing has really come out in terms of, if it's something that's going to sideline him for a while or not. And going back to that Debo touchdown, I was really upset when it happened because I was playing some guy in fantasy and that was the only player that left for either team playing, and it was on his team. Ended up losing by 10 points just because of that touchdown. Very upsetting. Anyways, moving on. The team that the 49ers just beat are facing the Dallas Cowboys versus the Los Angeles Rams. Tough game for the Rams. They're on a rough slide like we alluded to earlier. Cowboys. Who would have thought that Cooper Rush would be leading the Cowboys to a 3-1 record right now, 4-0 overall in his terms of starting? Is there QB controversy in Dallas?
No, there's not. But it is going to be great that hopefully they still have a winning record when Dak does end up coming back, which, I don't know, could be a little while because I think the Cooper Rush fantasy ends here. I'm not gonna fall into the trap that the Rams looked awful last week. The Rams played the second best defense in the league. Championship style defense, one of the better defenses. Allen Robinson, used to love you. You're now dead to me. I needed 3 points to tie, 4 to win, and you got me 2 points. Totally got clamped up by whatever that guy's name is on the 49ers. So you're now dead to me. Yeah, I'm not gonna fall into the Cooper Rush hype or the slander of the Rams being bad, although their offense is bottom 5 of the league right now. Dallas is pretty close to that. I'm going Rams at home. Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Micah Parsons may break Stafford in half in this game. We'll see.
If that's the case,
they can't block anybody.
If that's the case, then the Rams are in trouble, don't you think?
They gotta figure something out because they can't block no one.
Okay, and you don't think that pass rush of Dallas is going to get to them?
I think it definitely will, but I think the Rams are still going to win.
The Rams are going from playing the second best defense in the NFL in terms of stats to, let's see here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. 8th is not bad of a defense to be facing. It's going to be tough. I do think the Rams are going to be having their hands full because, like you alluded to, they can't protect Matthew Stafford. He's not targeting anyone else aside from Cooper Kupp. These are things that are concerning for the Rams moving forward.
Dallas also has 15 sacks, tied with San Fran for second most.
Yeah, I think all the signs are pointing towards the Dallas Cowboys getting a win this week, and
take them.
As much as I don't want to take them, I hate taking the Cowboys. I do think they'll beat the Rams. They not looking good. Rams kicker though, Matt Gay, over 2.5 total made extra points. It's kind of crazy saying that they're gonna score 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
And that's what we've been saying about a lot of these player props and just game props itself. But it is what it is.
I feel like Matt Gay. I don't know. I don't know. The Rams didn't look great in a few of these games.
They should come out better, 100%.
They haven't looked great, to be honest. They've had a few tough opponents. They've scored 10 points. They've scored 12 points, and they've scored 9 points. They're down there almost as bad as my Bears. They did score 27 against the Falcons. So honestly, a lot of signs are pointing to Dallas, but I gotta take the Rams at home.
Can't blame you. All right, another NFC West team hosting another NFC East team. We have the 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles against the 2-2 Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. What you got, the green birds or the red birds in this one?
Battle of the birds.
Bird is the word, dude.
Going to go with the Greenbirds, the Kelly Greenbirds, the Philadelphia Eagles. It's hard to go against Philly right now. They're looking really good. Yes, that last game against Jacksonville, you can credit the weather because if not, it looks like stop looking at me like that. Jacksonville was, making quite the push to win that game. And then the Eagles turned it on their head with all those, fumbles, interceptions, so on and so forth. But, yeah, I have a lot more faith in this Eagles team. They're looking really good. So, carrying forward, I think they're one of the better teams in the NFL, if not one of the best. Their pass rush is insane. Their secondary is gelling pretty well. And then their offense is looking pretty good, led by Jalen Hurts, who a lot of people had doubts on coming into the NFL. Third year, and he's proving a lot of doubters wrong. So, I don't know. High on this Eagles team.
No, I agree with everything you said, and I'm just going to make it easy and take the Eagles. Everybody else, actually, that's gotten their picks in so far is taking the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a consensus pick, I think, all around.
Yeah.
Probably one of the only games that everyone will be on board with the same exact pick, which could be bad because that kind of happens a lot throughout any type of sporting event, right? Like a lot of people think, oh, for sure, this team's going to win. Boom, flip it on their head. Cardinals end up winning.
Yeah, I mean, Cardinals aren't a bad team, and they're at home, so you never know. But I like the Eagles.
Yeah. Double result, Philly first half, Arizona second half, plus 800. Never know.
I like Philly.
Cardinals have been known to come back, so maybe they do end up outscoring them in the second half. But
maybe.
It just really depends on how much the Eagles score in the first half.
Good value.
Yep, good value there. Not too bad of a prop bet there. And then we have Sunday Night Football.
This is going to be a great game.
I'm
looking forward to it.
I'm excited for this one as much as I'm kind of in the swamps and the dump, whatever you want to say, against the Bengals right now. Definitely excited to see them play the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is the two best teams in the AFC North, and that's the Browns without Watson yet, and they're still holding on pretty well. So, two of the top three. I know I agree. The Steelers are kind of in the dumpster. Tough game to pick, honestly, because there's a lot going on between these two teams. You have the Bengals, who kind of similar to the Rams, did not look good to start off the season. Got a huge win against the Dolphins last week to improve to 2-2. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens, who have struggled at home. Honestly, the last two home games, they've surrendered big leads. They lost by plus 17 plus both times, and they gave up 17-point leads. So that's very concerning as a Baltimore Ravens fan. Do you think the Bengals can have a comeback win and extend that to 3 straight home games?
You want to know what I think, dude?
Go ahead.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you what I think, dude. I think Lamar Samuel L. Jackson is going to say, there's too many goddamn Bengals on this MF field, and he's going to kick some Bengal butt. Whoop!
So I'll take that as you're going with the Ravens?
Yeah, Lamar Jackson is probably the best football player in the NFL. I don't know why the Ravens don't just say, hey, here's a check, here's 10% of the team, whatever you want, man. Whatever. And also, shout out Pompano.
Yeah, he is from Pompano.
Hey.
Shout out Pompano.
Carry on.
Okay, perfect. Anyways, I mean, it's tough. I do think the Cincinnati Bengals defense is coming along a lot better than how they started off the season. Ravens just concern me, like I alluded to early on at home. We'll go over who has picked so far. Eddie, Joey, Matt, and Chris are all going with the Ravens. Mark is going with the Bengals. Mark likes to bet a lot. Let's real quick before I continue.
Look at the last few picks besides the Eagles
I want to see the
games.
leaderboard. Mark is not looking good. I don't know Mark. Mark likes to take his bets, take a few swings. Sometimes it misses. It's hard, man, because I've seen this Ravens team collapse, and I don't want to go with them and then it happens again.
We need Mark or Steve on to help convince us about this. This is their division right here. But I don't know, man. Lamar Jackson, I think, is just when you have a talent like that, I just feel like you gotta go with him, especially at home. Harbaugh is a great coach, and since he hasn't looked that great, although I understand why you're on the fence, but I think I love Baltimore in this one.
So the reason I'm on the fence is that it's happened multiple times. That's the only reason. You know, if this is gonna be a trend with them.
Joe Burr.
Exactly. Joe Shiesty, Joe Icy, Joe
Whoa,
Cool,
whoa,
whatever
whoa.
you want to say.
Joe Schmo.
You convinced me to go with the Ravens. I'll tell you that. Because...
Yeah, I don't have to convince you to anything, bro.
Yeah, you did. You did that. I also put in Ravens kicker Justin Tucker over 7.5 total kicking points. Plus 104. A little plus money. Never hurt nobody. But yeah, take a chance on Justin Tucker.
That'd be crazy. It's a lot of points, but if he had the chance to kick 8 field goals or have 8 points, I think he would make all of them.
Another reason I'm going with that is because last week they had the chance to kick a field goal, extend their lead a little bit. Instead, they didn't.
Yeah, but they're on like the 2-yard line though.
Just get the points.
Nah,
stop going for it on fourth down and not converting.
Nah, I like going for it there. You have Lamar Jackson, go for it.
They've lost since week 13 of last year. They've lost all their one possession games.
They said the same thing about the Bills, and then the Bills won last week in like a one possession game, didn't they?
Yeah.
So there you go.
It came down to who wanted it.
It was against the Ravens.
Yeah. So, you want to throw in this Monday night football game or what, Chris? What do you got here? Yeah?
Throw it in? Just
send us off.
Locked? Are we locked?
Launches.
Las Vegas Raiders going into the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs. I don't know. Mahomes looked awesome as usual. Gotta go with the Chiefs. I feel like at home, although it's sad to see Derek Carr being not on a winning team and Devontae Adams kind of stinking, but now that he's left the Packers. But I mean, like, hey, you win some, you lose some. Go with the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I am also going with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the better team through and through. After what we saw last Sunday night against the Buccaneers, I think Kansas City Chiefs are back to being one of the teams to beat in the NFL. Like you alluded to, that Tampa Bay defense is pretty serious, and Patrick Mahomes made them look silly.
Everybody always does this, man. They always do this. They did this last year. Kansas City, not that great of a team. You know what? They're still a great team. Even though they lost Tyreek, obviously big loss. They added a bunch of talent. They're going to get healthy. They're going to be a great team. They still have Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, bunch of dudes on D. They'll be all right.
That is one of the only big concerns coming out of the Kansas City Chiefs right now is who is the number one wide receiver, aside from Kelsey. Obviously, Kelsey is your number one receiving target, but who's your number one wide receiver at that position? So far, it's looking like it's Juju. Scanling is not looking good.
Valdez Scanling?
Yeah.
I had high hopes for him.
Yeah. I expected a little bit more from him, and he's definitely not playing up to what I expected from him, at least. Aside from that, a few little no-namers on there.
Well, McCole Hardman.
He's a rookie, though. McCole Hardman's kind of
not looking good.
The first game, and that was pretty much it.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire has 3 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a beast. I love him. He's good. That running back room is serious, though. Jerry McKinnon, too. Isaiah Pacheco. They're looking nice. I think they're going to lay heavily on that this entire year. And
Travis Kelce under center.
Any tight end under center, actually. You saw a couple of those sneaks. But yeah, the Raiders are in a tough spot. 1-3. It's a must-win game, honestly. If you don't win this game, you can pretty much kiss the playoffs goodbye. Not even winning the division. You can kiss probably the playoffs goodbye. I know it's not impossible to go on a run and maybe put yourself in a position, but this is a big game for the Raiders.
Especially if Denver wins. I mean, we have the Chargers losing too, so You never know. We got Tennessee losing as well, and Cincy losing this week, and Miami losing this week. I don't know, man.
We is too many people.
Okay, well, we have a lot of similar picks there, but you never know. You never know how things are going to shake out, but it will be hard for them to make the playoffs if they lose this divisional game, yes.
For sure. I also threw in winning margin for the Kansas City Chiefs, 7 to 12 points. Highly possible. The offense looked really good. I think the Raiders' defense is not as good as the Buccaneers' defense. So, given it is a divisional game, so things are always hiding in these type of games. So, could be a lot closer than we think. But Kansas City is favored by a touchdown. But that pretty much wraps it up for week 5.
Week 5 should be a good week of football. I'll have some company this week. Cody's coming down for the weekend, so we're going to watch the Bears game. And probably watch a loss. And whatever other games on TV, we'll have that on too. But, yeah, if you want to check out our picks, NFLGamePicker.com.
Yep.
NFLGamePicker.com.
Also,
NFLGamePicker.com.
I won't be able to watch most of the Dolphins game. I'll be traveling, which will be very unfortunate. But at least we have Groot here to dance a little bit.
Yeah, look at this guy.
Oh, God. Dude, you killed the Groot like Blake Bortles.
Whoa, dude.
God.
Sorry, we'll cut that out. We'll cut that part out, yeah.
Later, guys. See ya next week. Peace.
Later.